In this video, I want to share 3 things that are really going to help you to eliminate some of the stress and anxiety and feel more confident and feel more positive in your life. So if either of those are things that you're struggling with right now, this video is for you. So for those who haven't met me yet, my name is Kara. I am a transformation coach and an energy healer, and I'm really passionate about all things spiritual, mindset, and holistic healing. So what I do is I help women to break free from the anxiety, the insecurities, the doubts, and the limiting beliefs, as well as their past struggles, so that they can find confidence and show up as their authentic self, truly aligned, truly connected to who they are and to the universe or spirit or source, whatever you want to call it. So that is what I do, and I want to dive into these 3 things for you that are really going to help you to make some major shifts, release some of that stress and tension and anxiety, and feel more confident and more positive, because that's what we want, right? We all want to feel more positive in our life. We want to be able to handle whatever kind of curveballs come our way, whatever kind of struggles there are, and feel confident in ourselves when we're doing it. So there's nothing worse than being stuck in the struggle and stuck in a place of anxiety and a place of tension and a place of kind of doubting yourself and not feeling good in who you are or how you're handling things. So these 3 shifts I'm going to be talking about will really help you with that. So tip number 1, you will hear me talk about this a lot if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or if you're one of my clients, but it is awareness, and this is going to change your life. And I know the second you hear that, you're gonna go like tune out and you probably don't want to hear more. But I promise, if you could do anything in your life to create the biggest impact and the biggest change, awareness is what you need to do. So when you become aware, it changes everything, because you are probably going through the motions right now. You're probably going through your life and feeling certain things and feeling like you aren't in control over them, and maybe you feel like things are happening to you or other people are causing the problem and they're letting you down. But when you start to become aware, you realize just how much your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own programming that you've created over the past how many years is actually to blame for a lot of the struggle and a lot of the anxiety and a lot of the tension. So when you start to use awareness, it's really going to open your eyes to your own impact on yourself, and it's going to allow you to create some changes. So the most simple thing I could tell you to do to become more aware is to just really spend time each day trying to catch your own thoughts. And when you get pulled off into an anxious moment, or when you get pulled off into negativity or drama, really make an effort to just kind of catch yourself and go like, stop, take a deep breath and look at the thoughts for a second and look at what is actually going on up here, instead of just staying in the motions, because creating that awareness and creating that chance to really look in and tune in is going to open up a lot of things for you, and it's going to make you realize some patterns, or it's going to cause you to go, wait a minute, like that's not something I need to really be stressing about, or it's not nearly as horrible or traumatic or bad as I'm making it seem. And when you create that awareness, it's going to allow you to really focus in on what actually matters from that situation and what you can do about it. So instead of feeling like this swirling negativity or stuck in this vortex, you're going to be able to look at your thoughts and go, okay, this is what's going on. Here's what I can do, instead of just being like, there's so much going on, I don't know what to do. So it really helps you to take control back, take your power back, and step back into that moment, which is going to be huge. So Step number 2 is going to be somewhat aligned to this, and this is to stop comparing and really learn to embrace yourself for all that you are. So it is so incredibly easy, especially in the social media and the digital age, to compare ourselves to everything else that we see. We're comparing to people on social media, accounts, lifestyles, careers. We grow up as children and we are taught these things, and we have these beliefs created about who we need to be enough. Like you have to go to school, you have to get a university degree, you have to become very educated, become a teacher, a doctor, whatever it is, right? You can probably think right now of some times when your parents or your teachers or your classmates made you feel like you needed to fit into this box to be good enough. And it's that goes in along with comparison and comparisonitis, and this fact that we think we're not good enough as we are. We need to be like that person over there, or we need to be more like this person, or this magical culmination of everything we desire. And when you're living in that comparison mode, it creates a lot of extra stress and tension and a lot of insecurities, because you are not feeling good enough in who you are. And if you feel that way, you are never ever going to be satisfied, because there's always going to be an external goal that you are reaching towards, and you're always going to be feeling like you're missing the mark, or you're not quite there, and you're not quite good enough yet. So when you realize that, and when you start to look at feeling confident in who you are for your true self, and just embracing every little piece of you, it's going to make a world of a difference in how you show up in the world and what's going on for you. And it's going to eliminate a lot of the stress and a lot of the anxiety. So that is step number 2. Shift number 3 is kind of gonna match up with these, and it's to stop complaining and to look for solutions instead. So we've all heard the saying about like whether you see the world as the glass half empty or the glass half full. Maybe you're even tired of hearing that. I know I was for a long time. But the really powerful thing to see in that is that like your mind is going to look for what's familiar from it, or familiar to it. So if you are someone who's always focusing on the negative, always complaining, and always looking for the bad side in things, that is what is easiest to you. And your brain creates these neural pathways, and that becomes a habit. It forms a habit, and that becomes really, really easy. Whereas when you start to think more positive, when you stop the complaining and you look for the good, when you start finding gratitude, all those different things, it starts to create new neural pathways. And you can imagine how much different that is. So when that becomes easier for you, that means that a stress will happen, or something will go on at work or in a relationship, and instead of immediately jumping to the negative conclusion and the fear and the tension or stress, your brain is going to be programmed to be more positive about it and look for a solution, or look for something good like a silver lining, and look for the lessons. And that's really going to change everything in your life when you start to do that, because it allows you to find the positive instead of staying caught up in the negative all the time and just like getting further and further into the rabbit hole of negativity. So your 3 shifts that are really going to change and decrease the stress, increase the confidence, are to find awareness, stop comparing, stop complaining. And those 3 things, even if you just start doing those each day, are going to be massive, massive. But what I also want to add in is that a lot of times it's a lot harder than it sounds. And on paper, those 3 things sound very easy. They sound too simple. You're probably even thinking like it's not going to work well enough because that's too basic, and maybe I'm struggling too much, or I don't know, maybe you feel like you've tried certain things and they're not working. And the thing is that it takes a lot of consistency. It takes a lot of radical responsibility, and you have to hold yourself accountable, which is a lot of times where people fall short, because life is busy, we get caught up in things, and like I said, we have these normal habits ingrained in us from years and years of repetition, and these neural pathways that are like shooting off to what's familiar, which might be the complaining, it might be the stress, it might be the catastrophic thinking, it might be the insecurities and self-doubts. if you've spent years doing that and you have these pathways created, it can be very hard to do this kind of work on your own, which is why having a coach or a mentor who can guide you, support you, hold you accountable, really keep you on track, so that anytime you start to go back down that pathway, you have that coach there to say, you know what, this is what's going on, here's how I want you to respond, and help create the questions and the awareness for you. It's going to make it so much easier. And that's exactly why all of the clients I've worked with have been able to overcome really, really big struggles in only 3 months instead of years. And from my own personal experience, it took me about 8 years to learn all the things I did, to apply all the tools that I've applied, and to really make the drastic shifts in my own life. And that's partly because I didn't have a consistent coach or a consistent mentor. I'd have people here and there when I was training, and they'd teach me things, they'd help me make some massive shifts. And then it was really easy to fall back into old patterns and really lose track of what my goal was, lose track of that accountability. And it happens so quickly, you don't even realize that you've fallen back until it's all of a sudden too late and you're way back to where you started a year and a half ago or something like that. So I cannot recommend the power of coaching or mentorship enough. And if this is something you're interested in, the link is below to book a breakthrough call with me. I would love to talk with you more, see how I can support you and help you. And I just really want you to know that it is possible to make huge shifts in a short amount of time if you have the right support and accountability. And now my dog's down here, so I will end it there for today. But I just want you to know that those 3 things, if you apply them every day, will change your life. They will release a ton of stress and anxiety, and they're going to help you so much to be more confident in who you are. And I know that if you're watching this video, that's something that you want. So for me and Cassie dog, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments your favorite part, or which 3 of the tools you're going to focus on the most first, which one you think you need the most help with. So I will see you on the next video.